So for all of you who are wrestling fans or were wrestling fans like myself, we have a real tragic story of an individual who displayed the epitome of what we expect when it comes to men, not just thinking black men, but SYSBM men for all intents and purposes, especially with the exemplary actions that he took throughout his lifetime and the action that he took that ultimately cost him his life. Now, Shad Gaspard, if all of you aren't aware of him, he was one half of the WWE Tag Team Crime Time along with his tag team partner and real life friend JTG. Albeit for a short time, they had a solid run in the WWE as a mid-card tag team. However, the real character of this individual comes outside of the ring, where, as you can see here, yes, he is SYSBM certified. Yes, he has a biracial son, to the dismay of all of those who are against thinking black men. But as far as that's concerned, why am I highlighting this individual? Well, a few days ago, Gaspard and his son, Ari, were among several swimmers who got caught in a strong rip current in Marina del Rey near Venice Beach, where him and his son almost got pulled out to sea until the lifeguards were able to catch up with the two individuals. Mr. Gaspard, doing as what any father would do, insisted that the lifeguards focus on saving his son first before coming back for him, which they successfully did. However, by the time they were able to get help to Mr. Gaspard, he had already gotten caught by the ocean. They were able to find his body a few days later, washed up in Venice Beach. First of all, we want to give our condolences to the family, the Gaspard family, his wife, his child, and all who worked with him. And if you have been watching social media, particularly in the wrestling world, there have been tributes coming in from multiple wrestlers who knew him and wrestled alongside with him. You had Tommy Dreamer giving his condolences. You had The Rock giving his condolences. You have Triple H saying that he will be honored with a 10-bell salute, I'm assuming, on SmackDown, as he definitely deserves. Not just because of his passing, but the way he passed and sacrificing himself in order to ensure that his son would live. Now, why am I pointing this individual out? Well, for starters, yes, he is SYSBM certified, as you already know. Selflessness is nothing new to Mr. Gaspard. This isn't the only time that he was a hero. Particularly on December 11, 2016, Gaspard prevented the armed robbery of a Coral Springs, Florida gas station when he was approached by an intoxicated man who was intending on robbing the clerk. Gaspard shoved the man, took away his gun, and restrained him until police arrived. Now, with that being stated, we all know how a lot of the opposition loves to paint men, particularly men who date women outside the race. They claim that these men are running from the community, are not willing to clean up, are not willing to deal with the sisters, etc. I'm not here to harken on all that. I have plenty of videos where I do, and I'm sure I have plenty more videos when we'll go at the opposition and fight the war. But in the meantime, Shad Gaspard definitely deserves credit where credit's due. Because for starters, this guy is known to be a hero. This guy is just a good dude who just does the right thing. This guy has it in his body, his soul, and in his heart to do the right thing. This is just natural for an individual such as Mr. Gaspard in order to sacrifice himself to make sure that his loved ones are safe first. So it comes at no surprise that he did this action as his final action on this planet. Now, Celiana Gaspard, the wife of Shad Gaspard, spoke up for the first time since the unfortunate incident of her husband, in which she stated that he is our real life superhero. And if you want to check out her IG, which I have in the description, the link anyway, go on ahead and read that heartwarming tribute. Now, just to give you some insight to Celiana Gaspard, Celiana Gaspard is, or at the very least was, a fitness supermodel. If you want to look through her IG, go on ahead, do the research. But one thing I found that was interesting about Celiana was that the fitness lifestyle that she lives is a response to what her former life was, which, if you want to see the before and after pics, Celiana was actually a bit on the heavy side. As a matter of fact, she was technically obese. But looking at the after pics and the current pics of where she is right now, she inspired herself. I didn't go into too much details on what inspired her exactly, but she made up her mind that she wasn't going to be among the masses of individuals that dealt with body weight issues and the lingering health problems that came along with it. So, as far as this is concerned, seeing this kind of woman next to this kind of man definitely shows you not only the caliber of women that SYSBM men get, but the kind of women who are willing to find it within themselves to self-improve. It's not just the men who are willing to self-improve, it's the women in this case. And I have to give a small shout out to her as well for changing her life, which probably helped her to meet Shad in the first place and to have this happy family that they had, at least for the time that all three of them were there. Now, as far as this is concerned, the reason why I'm pointing this out is that you will have those from the opposition who will try to tell you that, oh, black male, non-black female couples never work. It's doomed to fail. You'll have mixed mongrel kids who have identity crises and all sorts of other ad hominem, pseudo-intellectual, faulty argument attacks. And that's what they are. These aren't even arguments. These are attacks in order to penis patrol men, especially black men, and most certainly thinking black men, from leaving the community. And when they tell you all the stories, all the failures, or all the lopsided couples where you see an on-point, rugged, built, or buff black dude with a sloppy-looking non-black female, or ran through, or just a screwed-up non-black female that no one in her community or community wanted, give them this story. Give them the story of a man who not only did his thing in pro wrestling, but was able to find a quality Stargate who actually looks like the kind of Stargate that any man of any race would want, had a happy family, which they were married, meaning there wasn't a divorce, it wasn't a breakup, it wasn't like the crap that they try to sell you with all this drama crap between couples. So they were an intact family with a well-adjusted son, as you can see here, and a man who not only was able to get a Stargate, who decided to do some self-improvement herself, but a man who was willing to help others whenever the time called. And in this case, it was the final call. The final call that he was willing to do in order to ensure that his offspring would live. This is the face of men who go SYSBM, or at the very least, this is the face of men who leave the community and form their own manifest destiny. In case of the late great Shad Gaspard and his wife Ciliana, these are the women and men that they choose. Everyone else out there, always bet on X.